We got a call from one of the local churches about a family in need. Don and Sally, with their 4 children, were homeless. Don had lost his job, they had lost their apartment, and most of their belongings had been thrown in the dumpster. They had no money to get a new apartment, and Sally's mother took them in, letting them sleep in her living room, 6 people in one room. But after a few weeks, the landlord found out. He wasn't happy and said they had to leave. No money, no place to go with 4 kids. Maria was a young single woman who got into trouble with drugs and was kicked out of the house by her mother in a snowstorm. She'd been on the streets for several years, trying to get clean, living with friends, struggling with her addiction and severe depression. She got into drug treatment and got herself cleaned up, but her boyfriend dumped her and her drug-using friends kicked her out. She had no place to go, and she was pregnant. Hello, I'm Dr. John Howland, a medical doctor, and this here is my office and St. Luke's Guesthouse. What is St. Luke's Guesthouse? The Guesthouse provides temporary, safe shelter and other assistance in a spirit of Christian hospitality for men, women, and families who are homeless. We're located at 141 Main Street in Southbridge in an old house that also serves as a doctor's office. All are welcome, but this is a dry house. We cannot accept guests who are still actively using drugs or alcohol. The Guesthouse is a peaceful place where a person in crisis can get off the street, catch their breath, and have a chance to work on their issues, especially getting into permanent housing. There's no charge for staying at the Guesthouse. Staying at the house gives guests time to find a job, to save some money, to look for an apartment, to work on health problems. While guests are with us, they meet regularly with our guest advocate, who will help them make progress on their issues and get into permanent housing. I'd like to introduce you to Eric Leonard and Tamsin Lucy. Eric and Tamsin are members of our board of directors and have done a lot of work helping get the Guesthouse started. I'm going to ask Eric to give us a little tour of the outside and the men's section downstairs.
Absolutely. So the first thing you want to know about St. Luke's Guesthouse is our location. We're right on Main Street in Southbridge, pretty much right across the street from the library, just a stone's throw away. You can see it from here. You should know that there's a bus stop right in front of the library. There's bus schedules to be found inside, as well as in the common area upstairs. Not too much farther down the street, you'll find a laundromat. That's where I go to do my laundry, and you'll find Big Bunny up the street, as well as a Big Y in the opposite direction. Now, I think that's enough of giving you an idea of what's around St. Luke's Guesthouse. Why don't we go for a tour? So, this is our front door. This is our front door. The first thing you'll notice is that there's a combination keypad here. And the main reason for that is one of the features of the house here we have is that guests are expected to remain outside of the house between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. on weekdays, Saturdays, weekdays and Saturdays, with the exception being Sundays and holidays. Anything that's a national holiday is an exempted day. And basically the point of that is to make sure that people are making productive use of their time. If you think this is a good place to, couch surf or just spend some time while you're, I don't know what, but couch surfing is not what we do here. That's not at all what we have in mind. We try to help people get back up on their feet and get their things together. We wanted to have St. Luke's as a place for people who are really serious about getting their life back under control and, getting them back on their feet and, just rebuilding themselves and rebuilding their lives and whatever that may entail. So to that end, each guest is basically given the use of a twin bed, comforter, sheets, blankets, pillow, a nightstand, a lamp for personal use, as well as 2 totes for storage of personal items or anything important. We have something of a little sitting area here. And then as we continue, why don't we go into the kitchen? All right, so Here we have the downstairs men's section kitchen. Nothing really to explain here. We just have a refrigerator, a stove, a kitchen sink, plenty of pots and pans you should never need for a pot or pan. A little cutting area here. With that, I think that's probably it for our kitchen. So let's take a look at one of the other bedrooms. So this is the second bedroom in the downstairs men's section. Like I said before, every guest will be given a twin bed. Every guest is given a nightstand, lamp, totes for storage. There's closet space. And with that, I think that pretty much wraps up the second bedroom. Now through here, now we're not actually going to go in here today, but this is actually my room. I stay downstairs. But if you're curious, I'm through the bathroom. So the bathroom doesn't really have anything fancy. It's a bathroom, functional, shower, mirror, toilet, sink, anything you might need. And with that, I think it might be time to finish our tour of the lower section and show you a bit of outside. So this is a good time to mention that, St. Luke's is a medical practice. Dr. Howland does run a medical practice downstairs. So this is a non-smoking property. There's no smoking in the house or anywhere on the grounds except for the designated smoking area, which I'm about to show you. And that's right over there. Pan over to that. And yeah, that's our designated smoking area. Don't worry, nobody bites. And with that, let's head back to the house.
And Tamsin, if you would, can you show us upstairs where the women and children stay?
Absolutely, my pleasure. Come this way. As we go upstairs into the upstairs of St. Luke's Guesthouse, we'll start our tour with the bathroom, one of two upstairs available for guests to use, and into one of the large bedrooms upstairs, which is currently being used by a guest and their toddler. And you will notice the storage bins that guests are provided that they can keep their belongings in while they're here. And there are lights and chairs for the guests to use. And move into one of the two smaller rooms upstairs that could be used by a single guest. It's currently being used by two siblings. And into the pantry, which is where guests can keep their food. It also houses the microwave. Into the kitchen, which has the basics in that the guests will need. We have the stove and the fridge, the sink, dining room table. The guests provide their own food. Staples are provided, but guests are expected to provide their own food. We do ask that guests follow common sense rules for everyone's health and safety, and we do insist that guests are drug and alcohol free during their stay here. Go in and into the second small guest room, which houses a single bed for a single guest. Go through into the common room area, which houses the dryer, which guests can use. They can bring their wet clothing back from a local laundromat, dry their clothes here. And there is also a notice board, which acts as a resource for guests with information on that is useful for them. And the second bathroom is also here with a shower. And go into the second large room upstairs, which may be used by a single guest or multiple unrelated guests. That concludes our tour of St. Luke's Guesthouse upstairs, and we'll go down back outside via the stairs that you would normally use on a day-to-day basis. Thank you for joining us on a tour of St. Luke's Guesthouse.
For years, there has been not a single homeless shelter in southern Worcester County. Every night in our community, there are men, women, and children who are on the streets without a place to live. It takes a lot of work to run a homeless shelter, but it's joyful work. We have the privilege of helping people in a moment of great personal crisis. For in welcoming the homeless person into our house, we are welcoming Christ. Thanks for your interest in St. Luke's Guesthouse. Please consider joining us. Join us and pray for our guests. Join us on Facebook and like us to spread the word. Join us by making a donation to our work. Perhaps join us by welcoming the stranger who knocks on your door. For I was a stranger, and you welcomed me.